tefilati L'cha Adonai et ratzon Va'ani tefilati L'cha Adonai et ratzon Elohim rov chastecha Aneni b'meishecha Elohim rov chastecha Aneni b'meishecha Va'ani tefilati L'cha Adonai et ratzon Va'ani tefilati L'cha Adonai et ratzon Elohim rov chastecha Aneni b'meishecha Elohim rov chastecha Aneni b'meishecha
I hope that you enjoyed that particular rendition. You may recognize the words from Matovu in the morning, and I happen to just, it really moves me. I hope it moves you as well. I would love to invite Irma. Can I ask you to unmute and to read this reading before we light our candles?
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we by our lives give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light.
Thank you so much. If you have Shabbat candles near you, I invite you to light them with me. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu להדליק נר של שבת. We continue with Lecha Dodi, and when we get to verse 9, we're going to invite you, if you are able to rise, to welcome the Sabbath bride.
Lecha Dodi, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. Lecha Dodi, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. Let's do that again. Lecha Dodi, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד השמיענו אל המיוחד אדוני אחד ושמו אחד לשמו תפארת ולתחילה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה. I'm jumping to verse 5. התעוררי התעוררי כי באורך קומי אורי 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 שיר תברי כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה. Here's the other melody. לך דודי לקראת כלה יללי 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 פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה יללי 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 פני שבת נקבלה. I'm going to go all the way to verse 9 and sure we would stand up for this verse but for cinematography's sake I'll just say seated. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה גם בשמחה ובצור עולה תוך אמוני עם סגולה בואי חלה בואי חלה לך דודי לקראת כלה יללה 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 פני שבת נקבלה פני שבת נקבלה. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat
And
shalom.
yeah, happy singing.
I love that. You know, I feel like he's here with us and that makes me really happy. I feel like he's got the right feel, the right ruach for us on this Shabbat. And I'm going to proceed forward for Shalom Aleichem. It's an interesting idea, this thing, the Shalom Aleichem, where we invite the ministering angels to join us. This whole idea of Judaism and angels can be really quite confounding for some people. And the Jewish notion of angels, I hope you've heard me say before, has nothing to do necessarily with people who have passed away or with that kind of spirit. Instead, these are messengers of God. And I love the idea that each one of us can serve as a malach Adonai, as a messenger of God, as someone who brings goodness and holiness into our own lives and into the lives of others. And to that end, how can we not welcome? So here we go.
שלום עליכם מלאכי השרת מלאכי עליון ממלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא שלום עליכם מלאכי השרת מלאכי עליון ממלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא שלום עליכם מלאכי השרת מלאכי עליון ממלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא שלום עליכם מלאכי השרת מלאכי עליון ממלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא איי 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 שלום עליכם מלאכי השרת מלאכי עליון ממלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא שלום מלאכי השלום מלאכי עליון ממלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ברוכים לשלום מלאכי השלום מלאכי עליון ממלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא איי 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 אתכם לשלום מלאכי השלום
What makes a fire burn is the space between the logs, a breathing space. Too much of a good thing, too many logs packed in too tight can douse the flames almost as surely as a pail of water would. So building fires requires attention to the spaces in between as much as to the wood. When we are able to build open spaces in the same way we have learned to pile on the logs, then we can come to see how it is fuel and absence of fuel together that make the fire possible. We only need to lay a log lightly from time to time. A fire grows simply because the space is there, with openings in which the flame that knows just how it wants to burn can find its way. As we continue with Baruch Hu, I invite you once again to rise as you are able.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed.
You may once again be seated. Colleen, can I invite you to unmute and to lead us in our next prayer?
Sure. Adonai, your majesty is proclaimed by the marvels of earth and sky. Sun, moon, and stars testify to your power and wisdom. Day follows day in endless succession, and the years vanish, but your sovereignty endures. Though all things pass, let not your glory depart from us. Help us to become co-workers with you and endow our fleeting days with abiding worth. Baruch atah Adonai Hama'ariv Aravim.
Amen and Yasher Koach. Thank you.
Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha Avta, Amcha Avta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta, Otanu limadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shachmenu uv'kumenu nasiach bechukecha v'nismach b'divrei Toratcha u'b'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed ki hem chayenu ve'orech yameinu uvahem nege yomam v'layla nege yomam v'layla
Together, we recite the watchword of our faith, Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem, Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על זכירך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם להיות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי ליתן קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם. Laura Lindsay, can I invite you to unmute and to read for us, please?
Yes, the good in us will win over all the wickedness, over all the wrongs we have done. We will look back at the pages of written history and be amazed, and then we will laugh and sing, and the good that is in us, children in their cradles, will have won. Our hearts beat with certainty that there is a day and an hour and a mountain called Zion, and that all of the sufferings will gather there and become song, ringing out into every corner of the earth from end to end, and the nations will hear it, and like the caravans in the desert, with all to that morning throng.
Thank you so much. Would that it were. All right.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש. נורא תהילות עושה לעולם ועד. מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקע ים לפני משה. זה אלינו ואמרו, זה אלינו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש. נורא תהילות עושה
כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וכל עם יד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני גיא ישראל. Sue Reinstein, I'm going to invite you to unmute because I know how much it would be useful for you to be able to rest. And so this is your reading for rest.
Okay. Give us a place to rest, Adonai, our God. Bring us into shelter in the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. For with you are true protection and safety, and in your presence are acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai, haparei sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim.
Amen. Shukah.
Let me
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם, לדורותם ברית עולם, לדורותם ברית עולם.
I'd like to invite you to rise as you are able for the Amidah. Adonai sifatai tiftachu fi agid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, האל הגדול, הגיבור הנורא, אל העליון, גומר חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, בחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע. משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, וכמוך בעל גבורות ומדום מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה,
ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלם. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש. We take a moment for our own private prayers and meditations. Actually, before we take a moment, please be seated. We are going to Oseh Shalom. We are going to pray for peace. Excuse me.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha,
And now we take a moment for our own private prayers and meditations.
Say shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Oh, say shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu.
Yaseh Shalom indeed. We are in Parashat Teruma, and many of you were able to join us on Wednesday as congregant and architect Joel Ives taught us so much, gave us so much to think about the Mishkan, about Solomon's temple, about synagogues in the modern day. And there was so much that was brilliant and insightful that he had to say, and we really appreciated his time. So this portion is about the Mishkan, as we mentioned, which is the portable dwelling place of God while the Israelites are in the wilderness. And a lot of this portion is instructions about building materials, instructions about interior furnishings, including the ark and its cover and the table and the menorah, instructions about the tabernacle structure, so that's the Mishkan structure, its coverings and frames and textile partitions, and instructions about the courtyard, the altar, and the enclosure. So that is part of what is going on. And one of the amazing things is that for all of this, what seems to be, let us go and read an architectural text, there is a fair amount of depth and a lot to be pulled from it. So I would love to invite Mona and Larry to unmute and to bless Torah this evening.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai hamvorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamvorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Vaydaber Adonai el Moshe lemor, daber el bnei Yisrael, vayikhu li truma me'et kol ish asher yidvenu libo, tikhu et trumati vezot hatruma asher tikhu meitam zahav v'chesef u'nechoshet u'techelet vergaman v'tolat shani v'sheish ve'izim.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tokenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yasher koach. I actually think that the beginning of this Torah portion is one of the more beautiful, and we're going to talk a little bit later about what it means for our hearts to move us so as to give to God. But I'd like at this time, as we think about our hearts moving us, for us to pray for all of those who are in need, because indeed, our hearts do need to be moved, to pray for them, to reach out to them, to support them. And so if there are names that are not on our Misha Berach list, or that you don't think are on Misha Berach list, as I read, I invite you to put them in the chat box. This week, we continue to pray, and we pray for Bob Adler, Joel Berkowitz, Barry Birmingham, Bob Bieber, Sheila Boylan, Lori Rosenblum Brown, Olivia Burton, Richard Burton, Leonard Bushell, Marcia Bialik, Bernadette Casey, Rosanna Corduyo, Carol Clearduyo, Sandy Cohen, Muriel Connick, Don DeGenario, Noel Drower, Daniel Duffin, Gary Duglin and Peg Duglin, Wayne Duglin, Marty Epstein, Doris Fader, Nicole Farringer, Tanya Ferguson is better, but we'll keep her on the list for now. Phil Greenberg, Jack Hurrahand, Wanda Johnson, Rosalind Camlet, Zareh Karagolian and Natalie Karagolian, Ben Katz, Lars Kirstein, Rachel Lawrence, Molly Ladeau, Lori Michard, Jim McGilloway, Tova Medetsky, and John Metz, Maureen Morell, Bob Muscat, Marion Newman, Allison Ocean, Carolyn Ocean, Vincent Pisano, Deborah Ruth Bukowski and Stephen Prince, Kiva Reinstein, Mary Rhodes, Susan Rivkind, Bernard Ricks,
Dale Robinson, Marlene Rosalinsky, Ruth Rubenstein, Karen Sakow, Arthur Schlesinger, Victoria Shaw, Jack Silver, Ruth Solomon, and Barbara Spedding, Kem Spencer, Burton Susskind, Carol Tejas, Gertrude Theodore, Stu Turner and Ed Vogel, Margaret Whiteley, Sarah Wolf, Wendy Zuckerman, Shura Chel Bat Chana Rivka, and Laser Ben Yaakov, Aili Simcha Ben Abigail, and Shoshana Irit. And we add to those names Carol Sutherland, Lisa Yagoda, Bob Flanagan, Hilda Auerbach, Melissa Young, Gail Yeoman, Rob Wilson, and Rob Maniloff, Carl Rocco, and Lily Taylor. For Misha Berach, you're welcome to stand if you want to draw close to those around you. You are also welcome to remain seated.
Be the source of strength to bless the one before us. Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. As those in need of healing, with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Oh, all right. So, all right. So now we get to chat a little bit about this Torah portion, and I'm particularly interested in the section where it says, "Tell the Israelite people to bring me gifts." And what it says in the Hebrew is "Yid venu libo," right? The ones whose hearts are generous, the one whose hearts move them, and it says "Vayikach li." And so, which doesn't actually mean bring me, it says take for me, okay? So it's not necessarily that Moses or the priests or even the people are bringing gifts to God. It's that gifts are being taken on behalf of God, which begs the question, and what is it that we're supposed to do with these gifts? Where are we supposed to take them? Well, this Torah portion tells us that it's about the Mishkan, that it's about the building of a communal architecture by which we get closer to God. And Rabbi Samson Raphael Hirsch, 19th century German Orthodox rabbi, says that this portion says that take gifts rather than bring me gifts, because the gifts aren't meant to go directly to God. After all, what is God going to do with gold and silver and copper and fabric and linen and all of these amazing things? God doesn't need any of that. Instead, the idea is that we donate to God through community, right? The Mishkan is not built for God. God can be anywhere. The Mishkan is built for the Israelite people. That's an interesting question, when in time this Torah portion happens. And as we were studying it in Torah study last week, is this interesting question. We know that the Torah portion comes in the Torah after the building of the golden calf, but there's a weird sense of timing, and it's possible maybe that the people even built the Mishkan before the golden calf, if any of this existed at all. But let us say for a moment that it makes a lot of sense that the people
built this tabernacle, that they built this Mishkan. And especially it makes sense if they've already built the golden calf, that God starts to realize something about humanity, about the need to be able to touch, to feel, to experience something in your own midst. And it is as much that they were able to band together to build the golden calf that teaches us that this community can band together for good also. And that the building of the Mishkan is not about any one person whose heart moves them. It's possible that someone had all the gold and all the silver and all the copper and all the linens, but the truth of the matter is that that is not what our Torah portion is about. It's not about some great benefactor. That would be lovely also, but it's about the community coming together with the resources, whether they be these material resources, whether it be a Bitzalel's resource of being an artisan, whether it's the resource of Moses being a leader and bringing all of these pieces together, or whether it's the realization of what the community needs at any given time, but that everyone's heart so moves them that they all bring something. And I always like to think about this portion and other parshiot that talk about when the Israelites' hearts move them. It's the only campaign, capital campaign in the history of Judaism where they said, we have enough, thanks, right? Because that's just not how things work in the modern day. And yet there are so many people in our community who give so much. There's so many people in every community who are generous of heart with their time, with their resources, with their abilities. And what's amazing, right, is that we come together as a community and we have this common purpose. And yet we see that in larger groups, it becomes difficult sometimes to have a common purpose. If you are a watcher of sci-fi movies, one of the most incredible things about sci-fi movies is that this alien or this threat will come from outer space and all of humanity, the entire world, bands together to save humanity. And this is an incredible thing. And the more and more we encounter adversity as humanity, whether it's global warming, whether it is bigotry or hatred or anything that might, or illness, anything that might benefit from us banding together, the more improbable it seems that all of humanity might be able to band together, to share all of our resources, to agree that there is a certain outcome that we all want, or that there is a way to get to that outcome. And yet a portion like this one gives us hope. It tells us that common cause for the benefit of the greater good is absolutely something that is bred into who we are as Jews and who we are as humanity. And for as dire as any one moment may seem, that we maintain hope because we know all that society and that community is capable of. And so I invite us all to allow our hearts to be moved towards generosity. And yes, sometimes, again, that is generosity of resources, but often it just needs to be generosity of the benefit of doubt, or the generosity of kindness, or the generosity of an open mind towards reaching a common goal rather than an individual one, and to be inspired to do so. Shabbat Shalom. All right. I would like to invite, oh, hold on. I have to share my screen again. I apologize. I pushed the wrong button. I get carried away sometimes and I get excited and the wrong button happens, but we are ready for Aleinu L'Shavech. Please rise as you are able.
Aleinu l'shabech l'Adon hakol, v'tei gdula liyotzei b'reshit, shelo asanu k'goyei ha'aratzot, v'lo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, v'goraleinu k'chol hamonam, v'anachnu korim ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר לאדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו, ושמו, ושמו אחד.
You may once again be seated. So I hope that you will join me for more Torah study this Sunday at 11:30 via Zoom. For those of you who regularly attend Torah study, you might have gotten an email that said it was being postponed or canceled. The life cycle event that was going to displace Torah study has been postponed, and so we will have Torah study at our regularly scheduled time Sunday at 11:30. And then for those of you who are fighting the bad weather and looking forward to banding together, there is an amazing craft project that the Sisterhood is hosting, Judaic paper cutting, also on Sunday this time at 1 p.m., also via Zoom. With, unfortunately, security concerns at the forefront, we hope that you will join other members of our community to attend the CSS, the Community Security Service Entry Point Workshop on Tuesday, February 22nd at 7:30 p.m. via Zoom. It will cover security awareness for our community, how to recognize suspicious behavior, and how you can contribute to our safety measures. College can be a tricky road to navigate, and BHSS wants to be able to help. We are building a database of college students from our congregation who are here to support high schoolers as they embark on their college journey. And to further help, the BHSS membership committee will be hosting College Knowledge on Sunday, February 27th at 3 p.m. Still via Zoom as we are in February. College students will offer firsthand experience of all aspects of college life. So if you have a youngster in your life, they probably don't think of themselves as youngsters if they're around this age, but high schoolers who would like to join us, please invite them to do so, and you may join us as well. For further details, Zoom information, please check out the temple emails, the website, and temple topics. So as you have seen, I'm not going to go through and read all of them again, but this is what we had the opportunity to hopefully pray along with. I always want you to know that my hope is that the music that we have facilitates our prayer, that it is less performative and more inviting, that you feel free to sing along if that is your thing, to dance along if you're like me and can't sit still when there is music playing, and for you to pray along, that this facilitates your prayer. Okay. Now then, we're in the month of February. If your birthday is in February, would you please put your name, the date of the birthday, and if you'd like, your age in the chat box? Marilyn, I know we still owe you chocolate. It will happen. Mark my words, it will happen for all of our Januaries. Okay. Helene's birthday is Sunday. Helene, there's so much that you can do. How are you even going to decide? Happy birthday on Sunday. Brilliant. Okay. And I am waiting. Some of us are like Helene and quick typists, and some of us take a moment longer. So I'm going to invite if anybody else has a birthday that they'd like to tell us about. Okay. Hayom Yom Huledet, Hayom Yom Huledet. Actually, Yom Rishon Yom Huledet, Yom Rishon Yom Huledet leHelene. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Helene. And anybody else who didn't tell us because they're a little shy, happy birthday to you. Ad 120 to 120. So glad that you are on with us today. Okay. Our thoughts turn to those who are no longer with us, those who have passed away recently, and those who died in this season in years past. Our condolences go to Ian Coyne on the death of his uncle, Francis Prochaska, and we are in Shloshim, the 30-day memorial period, for Florence Rhine, mother of Norman Rhine, Howard Michael Myers, son of Bob and Pearl Myers, Susan Garcia, sister of Barry Romoff, David Teish, ex-husband of Judy Teish, Arlene Amster, sister-in-law of Bela Berkowitz, Christopher Spedding, stepbrother of Lauren Theodore, and Leonard Zinn, father of Jane Cohen. We are also commemorating the Yahrzeits, the anniversary of the passing of Robert Anicetti, Sr., father of Bob Anicetti, Florence Bressler, mother of Carol Epstein, Toby Putterman, grandmother of Howard Kersner, and Andrea Green Swan, niece of Stuart Kirshner. We also remember Betty Winkler Gluck and Melvin Katz. In addition, in our chat box, we see Marilyn Levy, Alex Horn, and Lee Flanagan for Shloshim. Thank you, Marilyn, for that as well, and Jane for sharing those names. In the Reform tradition, it's not unusual for the entire community to stand. I want to invite those who are in mourning and those who are commemorating Yahrzeits to rise. And I don't know how that it has happened in our country that the Holocaust has become so misunderstood, and that people have begun to use it and the victims of the Holocaust to such unfortunate means. But whenever I invite us to stand for those who have no one to say Kaddish for them, it is certainly among those people, the victims of the Holocaust, who no longer have family, who are included among those. And so I invite all who are able to rise at this time. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ve'alma tivrach chiruteh v'yamlich malchuteh, b'chayechon u'vyomechon v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'yimru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbam varach leolam umei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shmei d'kudesha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'yimru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim alinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom v'imromav u'yaseh shalom alinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel. And we say, amen. You may be seated. Anybody got a Kiddush cup and want to lead us in Kiddush? All right. Jane Young, I'm looking at you.
I can't say no to that.
Oh, beautiful. That's my favorite kind of invitation.
This will be my Kiddush cup tonight.
Awesome.
All right. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho v'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu. Zikaron lema'aseh v'reshit, ki hu yom tehila lemikra'e kodesh, zecher l'tziat mitzrayim, ki vanu b'harta v'tanu kidashta mikol ha'amim. V'shabbat קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני נקרא השבת. לחיים.
Amen. L'chaim. Thank
L'chaim
you.
again.
To both of you.
Thank
Jane
you
and
so
Mark.
much.
Brilliant. For those who I'm seeing who are just logging on, I apologize. First Friday of the month begins at 6:30. We love you, and I promise I will post the service as soon as I can so that you can have the opportunity. In the meantime, you got here for a really wonderful, as far as I'm concerned, closing song. Yehiyeh Tov, it will be good.
אני מביט מהחלון, וזה עושה לי די עצוב. האביב חלף עבר לו, מי יודע אם ישוב. הליצן היה למלך, הנביא נהיה ליצן, ושכחתי את הדרך, אבל אני עוד כאן, ויהיה טוב, יהיה טוב, כן. לפעמים אני נשמע, אז הלילה, הלילה, איתך אני נשאר. ילדים לובשים כנפיים ועפים אל הצבא, ואחרי שנתיים הם חוזרים ללא תשובה. אנשים חיים במתח, מחפשים סיבה לנשום, ובין שנאה לרצח מדברים על השלום. And it's all right, it's okay. Sometimes I just break down. Tonight I know, tonight our love will turn us back around.
As you can tell, it is longer than that, but I didn't want to, okay, all right, so I'm seeing faces. Okay, fine, be that way. I'm gonna go to YouTube, I'll play the whole thing. Fine, I'll fast forward to where we were.
ילדים לובשים כנפיים
We heard this.
ועפים
Hold
אל
on,
הצבא.
I know, I'm ruining it, but we'll go.
Tonight I know, tonight our love will turn us back around. שם למעלה בשמיים עננים לומדים לעוף, ואני מביט למעלה ורואה מטוס חטוף. ממשלה של גנרלים מחלקת את הנוף לשלהם ולשלנו, ולא רואים את הסוף. בא נשיא מצרים, איך שמחנו לקראתו, פירמידות בעיניים ושלום במקטרתו, ואמרנו היי בוא נשלימה ונחיה כמו אחים, ואז הוא אמר קדימה רק תצאו מהשטחים. And it's all right, it's one verse that says that we shall learn to live together under the olive trees, and that children will grow up knowing no more war, no terror, no frontiers, and that fresh new grass will grow over the graveyards for love and peace. For after 100 years of war, we haven't and will not lose hope. עוד נלמד לחיות ביחד בין חורשות עצי זיתים. ילדים יחיו בלי פחד, בלי גבולות, בלי מקלטים. על קברים יפרח העשב לשלום ואהבה. 100 שנים של חרב ועוד לא אבדה התקווה, ויהיה טוב, כן, לפעמים אני נשבר, אז הלילה, הלילה, איתך אני נשאר. And it's alright, it's okay. Sometimes I just break down, but tonight I know, tonight our love will bring me back around.
Shabbat shalom, everybody. I'm so glad you stayed. From their lips to God's ears, right? And
Yeah.
all right. Well, good Shabbos and happy Adar, and I will see you all soon. Bye.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Good to see you guys.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat
Bye,
shalom.
everybody.
Glad you made
Bye.
it, Susie.
Me too.
Hi, everybody.
Hello,
Dad, you
Michael.
missed so much.
Oh,
Hold on, there's another one I
So
wanted you to see
beautiful.
from the beginning, Dad.
I
So hold on, because the opening song I also thought was worth it. And so I'm going to play that one more time before I call it a night for anybody who wants to hear it again also.
Sure, that was
Yes.
great.
Okay, let's hope
Yeah.
everybody.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
Hear this one. We missed it.
Here's your phone. Just take it.
Oh, cool. Huh.
ואני תפילתי לך אדוני רצון
Not even there.
ואני תפילתי לך אדוני רצון אלוהים רוב חסדך ענני במאישך
There you have it. Shabbat shalom again.
Shabbat shalom. Even Pan enjoyed it a second time.
Sure.
Rabbi, does that mean that Jackson Brown and Sean Colvin are Jewish?
I don't think that's what that means. I think it means that the musical world is small and beautiful and full of some political flexibility that I did not know that some people were capable of. And I'm so excited that they were able to sing with David Broza. That's what I think it means.
Super cool.
Wonderful.
It really is.
Voice.
On Masada, no
Great.
less.
No less. No less.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
As